Oh, hey, Akigoro, how you doing? Hope I pronounced that right. Eh, Not doing much right now. Just gluing together a miniature of I think it's a hill giant. Hope this glue isn't too old. And I do want to be careful because I have glued my fingers together on occasion. Let that sit for a minute. Anyways, I believe today is Easter. I don't really know because I haven't really been keeping track of the real world lately. I've been sleeping through most of it. Hmm. I don't know why it blocked it because I don't have. I don't think I have a thing on here that has me blocking foul language or anything. At least not that I'm aware of. Oh well. Anyways, yeah, I have no idea what that. Other than tone, tone at the end, I have no idea what the first three letters are and why it blocked it. Yep, there we go. Okay. Now I have to be really careful because it's like going very thin. Ace tone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep, okay. And we've just got one more part left, and that's the head. And then I'm done with the miniatures for the day. Uh, oh, I have it. Help if I have it right side up. There we go. 2, 3, 4, 5. And that, there. We now have a hill giant. Well, that was fun. Thanks for joining me. See you guys later. Bye. No, just kidding. I was just going to do random stuff tonight. Or this morning. I'm used to being on at night, so I was just going to do random stuff this morning. Anyway. I was asked my opinion on the, what was it? The, something of Rohirrim. And tell you the truth, I haven't watched it. There's one, I didn't know it was there. And then I turned around and find out. How was it? Because I like having animated fantasy stuff. I mean, I got regular Lois Worth, Thundar, Dungeons and Dragons. If it's anything like Dragonlance here, then I'll pass. Because this was an eyesore. Yeah, I've never watched animation before that actually hurt my eyes. And this one did it. It actually made me nauseous watching it. It was me. Well, I don't go for meh. I just watched some Rune Soldier the other day because I've owned it for like 2 years and I've never actually completed it because of the jokes in it get to me. There's a certain kind of comedy I don't like watching, and that's embarrassing comedy. You know, where the character is constantly being embarrassed for the sake of jokes. And I don't like that kind of comedy. And unfortunately, a lot of the comedy that's in Rune Soldier, a lot of the jokes are that is basically showing how much of a buffoon the main character is and embarrassing him constantly. So basically, a Mary Sue, as they call it. And let me guess, she was perfect in every way. That's the main problem they have with a lot of female characters they do nowadays. Like, it's like uh, she hates, 9 times out of 10, she usually hates men or is trying to outshow men. And everything she's capable of doing, she does it automatically with little to no training at all. If at all, if there's any training. And yeah, so yeah, I don't like those. I don't mind Mary Sue characters as long as there's like a fallibility to them, which unfortunately they don't have a fallibility to them a lot of the time, and that gets on my nerves when they don't have any fallibility. I mean, you had Mary Poppins flat out say she's perfect in every way, and that was meant as a joke. That wasn't supposed to be taken seriously. But tonight, yeah, I'm going to be going back to Final Fantasy tonight. I believe tonight, yeah, Sunday night is Final Fantasy. I'm going back to my regular schedule stuff. I just, I was just having a real. I even was like that today. I didn't wake up till almost 1 o'clock. I was that out of it, and I went to bed at a decent time last night. But I should be up tonight to be playing Final Fantasy. Um, she outruns Legolas and beats an elf female in a sword fight. So, you mean Legolas isn't a female? I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. If anything, when they de-aged him in The Hobbit, it made him older. I mean, was I the only one that thought that in The Hobbit when they reintroduced Legolas in it? He looked rather creepy. Son of a bitch! I hope that didn't break anything. Everything's okay. Nothing broke. At least I don't think. Actually, this is when I was in security, and this is not a cop light, actually. I actually bought this at a hardware store. Actually, my mom did. This is her flashlight. Damn, did I? I hope I didn't break anything. Because it landed right on my laptop. Well, I'm not putting it up there anymore. Bad idea. Yeah, the stream is still going. The screen's not cracked anywhere. And it doesn't look like anything broke on my. Yeah, I have a Lenovo. I don't know what model though. But I'll tell you, this thing can take a beating. Because I've dropped it on several occasions. Yeah, I got a little bit more of my book list here completed. Picked up about 3 more books at a used bookstore. God, I love used bookstores. If there's ever a time where you can't find a certain book at a bookstore and they don't have it in print anymore, always check out a used bookstore and you might find the book you're looking for. And trust me, it's happened. So anyway, oh, the stack is up by a light here. It just shadowed me over a little bit here. uh, so of course I already started reading this. I'm probably going to read a little bit more tonight after Final Fantasy. So there'll be 2 videos up on YouTube tomorrow. I also got the Crystal Shard. I showed this before. Well, I did mention I'm a security guard before, so the cop light does make sense that I would have it. Heck, I even have a thing for my belt to carry it in. Anyway, so yeah, Crystal Shard. I worked security for about... I want to go back. I want to go back to security, but because of my dad, I really haven't had time to go searching for jobs. And I don't think I could do it today because it's Easter, so no one's going to be hiring on the Easter Sunday. Anyways, and I got Black Wizard, which is the sequel to this one. And I'm reading them in release order. I'm not reading them in series or chronological order. Of course, Spellfire. Which, by the way, back when I was a teenager, this was the second book I had bought, but I lost it years later. And it made credit cards, sat in a booth watching security monitors, easy job. I mentioned it before. My first job was I worked at the metal detectors, the archway and the wands at events first few years, off and on. And that was for a company called Admiral, which I don't know if they're around anymore. But, oh, speaking of which, they were being sued, and I got a notice saying that because I was on this list of employees, that I was going to get a cut of some sort of amount of money. I ended up getting the check. I think I still have the check here because I never, I didn't cash it because there was no point in it. $4.21. That was my cut of the lawsuit. I'm like looking at like $4.21. Excuse my language. I'm going to say, what the fuck am I going to do with $4.21? Maybe buy that stick of gum I always wanted. Azure Bonds, of course. We all know, game-wise, this is the sequel to Pool of Radiance, which is funny because this came out first before Pool of Radiance. And Pool of Radiance is, a ways down here before it was released. And the game had been out for a few years before they finally did a novelization. Usually when they do a game or a movie, the novelizations come out around the same time or maybe a month before. Yes, that happened to me. I went to Institute of Technology over on, it's a few miles down north of here. I went there, and I was going to work at the same time, but the thing was, I couldn't get times that would, well, I didn't get sued or anything, but they've been begging me for money. And the funny thing is we actually showed up to go pay off the rest of the thing, and they wouldn't accept it because I wasn't there when my parents went to pay for it. And I'm just sitting there going like, why do I have to be there? It's like, if they're paying for it in my name, that should be fine. Who cares where the money's coming from? It wasn't like they were taking anything. But yeah, they wouldn't accept my parents' money, and they said, then you ain't getting anything from us. And the thing was, I don't know how people, if anybody knows about it, technical schools are nothing like colleges or high schools or anything, because they give you about, when you first sign on, they give you about a month of orientation. You're there for about a month of doing orientation. Then they put you in a class. But this one I went to, and I don't know how they did that with you, but in this class, they drop you right in the middle of the course, no matter where it is in the line and the scheme of things. So, of course, when I was dropped in, I'm on their last month of that course when they dropped me off. So I knew shit about what was going on, and the teacher was making fun of me about it. He goes, "Exciting, isn't it?" And I'm like, "No, because I don't know what the hell I'm doing." So after that, then the next month they make you go through the rest of they start the course as normal and go through all that. Well, that's what they did with me. They dropped me right in the at's end of the course. So, of course, I didn't know anything about anything, so I was failing right off the get-go. So, yeah, basically, this institution, I don't recommend going to Institute of Technology. But, yeah, it was ridiculous. I go, I should have just waited till the next course, if the next course was starting up, which they don't tell you. They don't tell you until about halfway through the orientation. Oh, by the way, really, I'm not surprised they got shut down, but yeah. And then when you go out to try to get jobs, nobody takes institute of any kind of IT courses. They don't take it into consideration. At least none of the jobs I went to, and I didn't even pass my course because they kept wanting to add another month every time I turned around. So I went one extra month, and they said, "Well, you still don't have enough of credits or anything. You got to do another month." And I'm just sitting there going like, "I ain't doing this anymore. I'm done." Well, you didn't pass. I'm going like, "Well, forget it then. You're never going to let me pass. You're just going to milk me for each month." Exactly. They don't hire institute. They rather take universities and colleges because institutes, yeah, they're just rip-offs. And I would recommend to anybody that's thinking about going to an institute of technology of any kind, don't go. Because all they're there for is to take your money, and they don't give a crap. And they want your money, nobody else's. Which I've never heard of any. If my parents went to Fresno City College, which is the nearby college where I'm living now, I went there for a few months. The only reason I stopped going was because all the courses I took were no longer worth anything, and I'd have to start all over again. And I was going for a computer science degree, which I was pretty much almost done with. But then, like four of the six courses I take, I had to start all over again because everything was updated for the following year if I was to continue one more semester. Well, I wish it was the case with this one because then I still get like every few years I get a letter from them saying I owe them $3,000 and whatnot. And then when they did that college thing for the government did that thing about schooling and stuff, I haven't received anything from them since. So either they gave up or the government gave them money. Anyways, as I was saying though, the I'm pretty sure they went out of business. Well, if I go over there and they're still there, I'll let you know. But I haven't been in that direction of town in a long time, so I have no need to really. But it also screwed me over out of a job because because I lived up in Oakhurst at the time, which was about 45 minutes from the school. So I had to drive downhill. Right after I got off of work, I'd go downhill, get over there, and go to class. Spend about 3 hours and 3 hours at the course, and then drive home. And I was getting exhausted. I ended up losing my job because I fell asleep at the wheel of a delivery truck as I was backing it up into the store, and I ended up hitting someone's vehicle. And I got fired for it. Because, yeah, my work was important, but at the same time, so I ended up losing a job. And at the time, I was married with 3 stepdaughters, so that was not helping any. So it turned into my wife was being the breadwinner, and I didn't realize this at the time, but a lot of the family we lived with didn't like me. So they ended up finding a reason to kick us out. So, oh no. You worked for the post office? I'd work for the post office, but a lot of the neighborhoods where I live are target practice areas for hoodlums. And being my luck, I'd be put in one of those neighborhoods. Oh, I bet they do. Anyways, as I was going on about, before I went on this tirade about ITT, uh, so anyways, I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 17, 18. 21 books out of the 297, I think it was. I think it's 297. Where the hell's my notebook? There it is. I was doing some cleaning earlier today, so a bit of a mess. Wrong notebook. Yes, I was right. 297. Plus, I believe there's 2 more coming out this year, so I don't know what the titles are, but I gotta look those up when they do come out. And I don't think I'm counting the, I don't think I put those in here. Let me look. The Honor Among Thieves novels, or novelizations. Oh, I do have them on here. And something called The Fallbacks. And I do know that there's some, what they call, young adult, or not, Forgotten Realms novels, because I remember there was a Dragonlance young adult novels that I picked up at a grocery store one time just because I wanted something to read. And if you're wondering why I'm looking this way, I'm reading the chat. That's why I'm not looking directly at the camera. Because if something pops up, I can see it, but I'm not used to that little chime still, because that chime's still popping up, and I don't know where that chime even started, because I don't remember activating anything for it to do that. I don't mind it in the least. It gets my attention, that's for sure. Anyway, but I'm going to look up the young adults as well, because that might be like a good short read for when I don't want to do the novels. You know, take a break from the novels. Because right now we got Darkwalker on Moonshay, Crystal Shard, which that's the one that introduces Drizzt, however you pronounce that. Black Wizard, Spellfire, Azure Bonds, Streams of Silver, Darkwell, Shadowdale, Tantras. There we go, Tantras. Waterdeep. Of course, here's Pull of Radiance. And the Halfling's Gem. The Wyvern's Spur. Iron Helm. Yeah, there was like some... At the time, they did like Native American and Asian settings in Forgotten Realms. I don't know if they still do them or not, but some of the novelizations were from those setups, like the Empire Trilogy. And then you got Viper Hand, which kind of like an Aztec thing going with Viper Hand here. Yeah. Well, the original intent of Forgotten Realms, I did some research on it, was supposed to be like an alternate. The reason it's called Forgotten Realms is it's an alternate universe in comparison to Earth as we know it, especially empires. Well, I'm going to read them anyway. I still can't get over the fact that people are thinking that orcs are black people. Well, you can kind of see that. I mean, hell, when you read even Dragonlance, when you read that, you could definitely see the Lord of the Rings influences on that one. And the thing is that with Forgotten Realms, he wrote that before he was even playing Dungeons and Dragons. It was just he started playing Dungeons and Dragons and goes, "Hey, my Forgotten Realms stuff might fit into this really good." They're Mexican now. Oh, I think I saw a pic of that. I had no idea what that was about. I thought it was kind of funny looking. Why is it when people... Okay, I'm going to go on a little tangent. I don't like discussing this kind of stuff on my channel, but why is it that when people are calling racist on stuff, those are the people that are the most racist? Drow don't exist anymore. And those were the favorites, were the Drow. There's this great video I saw one time. I don't know if it's a sketch or it was part of a show or something. I saw it on YouTube Shorts, and it cracked me up because I believe this is a situation that would happen. And it's this taco shack at this it's like one of those taco trucks, and I'll be right back.
Dungeons and Dragons will return after these messages.
Now what do I do? Okay, this is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons video game cartridge.
You have to buy it separately to play on the Intellivision video game system.
Mom and Dad have to hook it up to the TV. What next? We're trying to find a crown, but it's real easy to get lost. So don't be surprised if the dragon finds you first. Holy cats, you just killed the dragon. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it.
Advanced Dungeons and Dragons video game cartridge and Intellivision master component from Mattel Electronics, each sold separately.
I am Morley, the wizard, introducing you to adventure. It's Dungeon Fantasy Board Game. This family is on a challenging adventure in a scary dungeon, seeking treasure guarded by strange and wonderful monsters. Take it from Morley, Dungeon and Dungeons and Dragons games from TSR play better. After all, we are the game wizards.
And now, back to Dungeons and Dragons.
No, but that was why people even picked the other races because of the bonuses. Why do you think there's so many parties without humans in them? I think there was only one time I had a human in a party, and that was, well, a couple of times I've had, but when I first started, there was rarely anybody who would pick a human. I was saying, though, about this little video I saw. It's this taco truck, and this lady, is like bitching and complaining about how racist it is because the guy at the register was a white guy. And, that he's, what do they call that term? That he's appropriating Mexican traditions and stuff like that to sell it. And stuff like that. Oh, you get no stat changes. What's the point then? But she, she's going on, and then a Mexican that's standing right, a few feet away from her is eating the tacos. He goes like, "Hey, I love the food here," and she's like, "Shh, I'm helping you here." And I'm just sitting there going like, "Lady, when you just did that, that was the most racist thing you could have done." It was like, they're helping people without even being asked, and then they get intolerable towards those people they're supposedly helping. And then he goes, well, all I do is I just run the register. It's Jose that does all the cooking. She goes, oh, you got a Mexican back there doing all the work for you, blah, blah, blah. She's just going off on that, too. He goes, well, he's actually the owner, so, let me get him for you. He goes, Jose, come over here. Jose comes over. He's a Korean, and he's speaking in Korean. And when she sees him, she's just like, and her boyfriend, who's right next to her, he's going, I've never seen this before. She doesn't know what to be offended for first. It's like she's, her wires are finally snapped. She doesn't know what to be offended about. And he was actually laughing about it because he's like, you could tell this guy had listened to her shit so much that it's like, seeing this happen to her was the greatest thing ever. But yeah, that was probably one of the funnier things I've seen in a long time. Is when that is just the look on her face when she finally just snaps, going, "I don't know what to. I don't. I don't know why when I do a live stream, YouTube takes 3 days to get a page up. I do. I'm doing that tonight because I'm only doing this right now is because I just wanted to do something while I'm basically cleaning my room. Well, it looks like it's going to be Skull Against the Black Priory. I was hoping to do Wasteland, but apparently people are going with Skull Against the Black Priory. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and all votes are off on this because I'm removing it. So either this Tuesday or well, it's not going to be this Tuesday because I'm going to be out of town. So the following Tuesday, I'm going to be playing Scald the Black Priory against the Black Priory. There's going to be 2 Tuesdays out of the month where I'm not going to be doing anything, and that's because of my dad's clubs. Those are on Tuesday nights, and I go there with him to push him around so he can look at stuff and talk with his fellow club members. I might have to get up again because the cat is sleeping right in the doorway of the bathroom. If my dad has to get around her, he might call me to pick her up. So Sundays is Final Fantasy. Monday is Realms of Arcania, which is tomorrow night. Which I didn't get very far on the first night because I got lost in the damn town 3 times in a row. Tuesdays, I take a break on the 3rd and 4th because the 3rd and 4th Tuesdays, all the other Tuesdays I'll be playing Skald. Wednesdays is Wizardry Games. Thursday is Legends of Amberland. Friday, of course, is Forgotten Realms with Pool of Radiance currently. And Saturday is Order of the Griffin. So I'm booked. So that doesn't give me any time to wallow in my own self-pity. I think it's perfectly set up now. Yep. Took me a lot less time than I thought it was going to. Yeah, at one time I was getting these. The reason I have multiple games is I easily get bored if I'm playing one thing continuously day in and day out. And I got so many games, I want to at least do something different. And trust me, at one time I had like 20 games going at one right after the other, so I had to really cut it down, otherwise I was going to lose my mind. So I got it down to about 1 game a day. But occasionally I'll, depending on my mood, I'll change things up. Miley, what now? Dad just opened the door for Miley to come in. And she stuck her head out in, but then turned around and went back. I guess she just wanted to check up on me. Well, if you watch my channel, I actually list her as my co-host. Yeah, at one time when I had the games going, I think I got a few cards missing somewhere, but they were selling these for a while, and it made it a lot easier than just having to write everything down on notebooks. Yeah, she's pretty much in all the newer intros for the past couple of years. Yeah, we got bards. This was with the essentials. Paladin. Druid. I don't know why I'm standing them up. You can't see them. We'll just go through them as I bring them out. Yeah, I use these on occasion, but yeah, it was I wasn't. I only started using them within like the last couple of games, and I think someone had taken a few of them at one point. Yeah, it was Martial Powers. This has got a few of the ones that are missing cards. Yeah, you can actually see it too. I actually can feel it because you can hear them moving around. But yeah, there was that one time where it's like they started doing the spellbook cards, which I recommend using. It's that way you don't have to use like a whole bunch of notebook paper and stuff, unless you want to do that. But I usually used what you call sports card sheets or whatever you use for your Pokemon cards, and that's what I put them in. When as they were using them, they would put them in their sheets and have them in their binders and ready to use. And it's a lot easier than looking it up through a notebook with bad handwriting and pages torn out when things are constantly erased and rewritten over and over again. So yeah, I had ones for cleric, bard, ranger, paladin. Why do I have bard again? Oh, because there was a second bard. That's why. And then we have Arcane Spellbook and Druid. But and then they had the Essentials kit, which was you had the basic box set, but then you had Essentials that came out, which was about a couple of years later. And this one had some cards in it to do commands and stuff in, so they came with a box too. So put those in there. Never really figured out a use for this, but I held on to it anyway. Yeah, unfortunately, they weren't exactly on the cheap side because I bought these all at the bookstore and they were about. Where the hell are my glasses? Small print. There we go. $16.99 for this one. I'm pretty much guessing this one's more. Yeah, $22.99 for this big boy right here. Yeah, $16.99. $16.99. Cleric, a little bit thicker, $19.99. Back at the time I had this, this money, I had a job. Oh, here we go. Martial Powers and Races, $9.99. So yeah, when I got these, I initially had a job. I'd been working for about 4 years. So I had money. We got Ranger. This is the cheapest one so far. Ranger, $6.99. And Paladin's $9.99. So yeah, the more magic-based ones cost a little bit more. Give me a second. Next weekend, Sunday, I'll be at the Not Your Typical Comic-Con over at Sierra Vista. So looking forward to that. I kept thinking it was this weekend. It's the following weekend. This weekend was Easter. No, this is Baja Blast Mountain Dew. And it's empty. That's the only one I'm going to be drinking today. Because if I drink any more Mountain Dew, I'm going to be awake all damn night. Like a wired chihuahua. I don't know if you've watched any of my box openings, but knocking things over all damn day, apparently. Mm. Well, I got these back when. You might recognize this from something. Yeah, this was sent to me from well, actually, this was for someone named Professor Jones at Bartlett College, Hamilton Hall, Grove Avenue, Fairfield, New York. Don't know why it ended up here. It's just a bunch of random Indiana Jones stuff in here. You know, like young Indiana Jones when he's a kid, Temple of Doom. A lot of stuff in here that I have no idea why would be in Henry Jones's diary. But why not? Yeah, they just threw a bunch of stuff in here. Western Union Telegraph Company. Another picture of Indiana Jones. Actually, what I think is funny is it's got a lot of feelies in here that you can barely read because the print is so tiny. You know what? I'm going to see if I can read some of it with the glasses here. Oh my god, I can. 2nd of June, 1923. Dear Henry. Okay. I was reminded of you today as in they redacted stuff on this. Gentleman, but no scholar would be in his youth was a confidant of Sir Richard Bastian, the late adventurer and long time. As you know, after Richard's death, it's Burton, not Bastian, Burton. Lady Burton has been many of the priceless artifacts of his travels. I'm having a hard time reading. The handwriting is my problem. It's not because it's so tiny, it's the handwriting. The travels in the Orient, holding them to be mischievous and obscene. Now, Sir Blank, infamous, apparently he didn't want to use the guy's name, infamous grave robber, that a summon master is some Mohammedan laugh, told Sir Richard that he knew the location of the Boramic bowl. The infidels' rumor as the Grail. That it had intricate designs on it and writing that may not Arabic script of the Jews or the Greeks or any other he had ever seen. Unfortunately, the something fragments gave no clue of where this Moor had been. only that he had translated eastward from the city and referred also to passing the 3 trials. The rest was suspect. I think of you after often and look forward to the day when you should bring you back to England. I remain your friend, such and such and such and such. I don't know how to read that name. Okay. Give me a second for my eyes to adjust. Okay, so that's the first time I've ever actually been able to read that, because it's so tiny. Oh, more tiny print here. New Gospels Authenticity Dispute. We'll read that some other time, maybe. And then, of course, it's got supposedly everything written in Henry's handwriting, Henry Jones Sr.'s handwriting. Of course, it's all small because this is a smaller version of the actual book, if you remember, from Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And then, of course, this is the cup, or a replica of it. Not a perfect replica, because I think the bowl is a little bit wider than the actual cup. We got Pacific Electric cash fare joint ticket. Pictures of money. It's been a while since I've opened this, so I don't remember what was in it. There's the X marks the spot. Senior and junior. I'm always talking to myself. It's if I start talking back to myself, I should start worrying. Venice. But the picture itself is blurry anyway, so. But yeah, they got a bunch of little feelies in here. It's kind of cool. If I was to come up with some feelies for a D&D game, this is definitely what I would use for a example. All right. Oh man, this thing is covered in dust. Hey, I've been looking for that. Compass coin. This is a compass coin. Doesn't actually work as a compass, but it has north, south, east, and west on it. So, okay. Actually, I did a lot of cleaning last night. And give me just a second. I gotta do a thingy. Now what I have in this little box right here is a bunch of stuff I've collected over various games and little trinkets I've come across at stores and stuff. For instance, the Skyrim signet for the Imperials. By the way, this is not the original string. This is because the original was a leather strap and it came apart after a while. So this is actually a shoelace. The key from Goonies. These are all 7 maps that you got when you bought the box set of the Elder Scrolls games. And these are all their world maps. Not including the online game. Dungeon crate card with a miniature of a street lamp. One giant 10-sided die. Excuse me, 12-sided. The key from The Hobbit. Oh, here we go. Borrowed this from a guy named Jack. That Renaissance fair I went to, I picked up steel dice. Another thing from Pirates of the Caribbean. Got various kinds of fantasy coins that I've been getting through Dungeon Crate. That's where most of these came from. One cursed piece of gold. What else we got here? We got, I think that's supposed to be the One Ring. And then we got one dwarf key and a few plastic gems. I think that's pretty much it in here. Oh, this is a metal six-sider. It's also metal. I'm not going to roll it because it'll make like a loud clunky noise. But yeah, these are a bunch of trinkets and stuff I've collected from Dungeon Crate and various events I've been to. I think I'll put this in here too. This is a cloth half map. I believe it's so I could put like paint stuff in it here. Got this from another Dungeon Crate stuff. Yeah, it opens up and you have pockets and stuff in it. On the thing, it has half a map on it. And you tie it up with this little 50-cent piece looking thing. Here's another little goodie I picked up. I found this on the internet. I think it's kind of cool how the eye watches you as you move along. But I do have stuff inside. It's basically a bunch of these little heavy tokens. Whoops. There you go. And it has some weight to it. If I ever do like another Ren Fair or I go cosplaying or something, I definitely want to put this into the thing, but actually put my money in it, not put tokens in it. Yeah, I saw that it's called a dragon bag. I forgot where I got it from, but I found it on the internet, so. Actually, I think I saw it for sale on Facebook, and that's how I ended up with the page. And of course, on one of my later, you've seen it a couple times. I actually bought one of them. I do have one of the Hellraiser boxes. I think I might have showed this the last time. Huh. Nothing happened. That's a bummer. Oops. Now, why are you attached to the damn thing again? Why does that keep happening? I'm not even up against it. I still grab stuff from there. Pinhead's on vacation. Which version, the male or the female? This is the weirdest thing about it. You think they would put like a spring or something in here to hold it together? Give it some sort of... But no, they made it two separate things. I haven't seen the new one yet. Or the one where they had a different actor playing him in the original run. But yeah, I kind of got burned out on it because it was like... what was it? It was Inferno and the one right after it, and it was basically they were the same plot twice in a row. I did read the book, the novella, and I think I might have mentioned it before, but the Cenobites were actually described as being sexless, like they had a combination of both sexes in their form. And none of them were given a name. It was just one was described as having several pins in its head. And that was the one that spoke, and it had a androgynous voice. And they also did things differently. They didn't like fill him up with hooks or anything. They actually described it as overloading him with, I think it was, they described it as a sensory overload is what they did to him. They, they amplified sound. They amplified his sense of taste to where he was able to taste his own saliva and various stuff like that, and like his whole body was like the air on his skin was like, didn't he already do that? Oh well, of course he's not going along with the movie, so I guess it also had Harry D'Amour in it. Oh. The one I'm waiting for him to do is to finish up the. I'm trying to think of that series that he was doing like a trilogy. He did the first two, and he has yet to do the third one. Uh, it was the Great and Secret Show. Oh, it was the art trilogy. It was the Great and Secret Show, Everville, and he has yet to do the third one. I thought the Scarlet Gospel was going to be it, but he said no, that's not it. It's no relation. It just has connecting characters. Lucifer killed himself in the book, so Pinhead finds his dead body and accidentally resurrects him. Oops. Yeah, he doesn't. I would describe Clive Barker as not so much as horror as an extremely dark fantasy. Because I read one of his books when I was younger, and it was called Weave World. Oh, yeah, that would probably do it. I read one called Weave World, and that was a trip of a book. Because it had to do with these people. I forgot what they called them, but it was like they were hiding inside of a tapestry. And they were hiding from a what was that angel that was guarding the gates of Eden? But anyway, it was one of those that was chasing after them, and they hid inside a tapestry to get away to hide from it. And then there's this one guy. He has this trench coat, and he opens it up, and it's like whatever. He goes, "Do you see anything you like?" And it'll be like the one thing you desire the most inside it. It was kind of crazy. So he completely changed the character. Let's see here. I'm trying to think here. There was this. Yeah, I never really. When Hellraiser, the earlier films, I really got into, and I was kind of disappointed they never followed up with Nightbreed. Although there were some comic books that came out, but they didn't last long either. And they even had a Nightbreed versus a Hellraiser comic that came out. It was, and even Rawhead Rex. They had the Nightbreed fighting against Rawhead Rex. Which a friend of mine, he had those comics and let me read them, and I thought those were the most twisted things. Which I read the short story Cabal, which is or the novella Cabal, which is it's based on. So it's just a monk temple in hell. Yeah, sounds about right. Well, they do say in Hellraiser 2 that he's the that when she's looking for her father, he says he's in his own hell and he's quite unreachable from here. Yeah, I was into horror and all that stuff when I was a teenager, but I kind of grew out of it, I guess. Don't know why. I like horror movies, but it's like the horror books. I was reading Stephen King for a while, Clive Barker, a few others, but then after a while, I just kind of got bored with it. And it has nothing to do with the writing or the writers. It was just that kind of stuff just didn't bother me anymore. Yeah, that one. I remember that one. He goes, "It's not hands that call us; it's desire." And I think there's only been one movie that really scared me more recently, and it mainly had to do with the fact that I'm terrified of mannequins. Although, I will mention this though: the Great and Secret Show, which is the first in the art trilogy by Clive Barker, which he has yet to finish. There's this one bit in it, and the portion of it's called the Three Virgins, I think it was, and it's these three girls, and they go and well up to that point they were, yeah, he takes a while to get anywhere. That's why his books are so big. He goes into so much details about inconsequential things. But there's this one bit where these two men they were wizards or something like that, and they were fighting each other and their bodies ended up in this cave. Many years, like a couple of decades later, these girls come to this. I guess you would call them a water catcher, and they thought, oh, that's a great place to go swimming. So they go swimming, and they're naked as they go swimming, of course. And when they go in, they can see the bottom. They see the grass at the bottom and all that stuff as they're going through. And the reason I mention that is because one of the girls starts panicking as they make their way to the center of the pool. And one of the other girls, she looks down and they realize they're over nothing. It's just darkness below them. And then the two entities pull the girls down and do something, rewire them or something. Because right after that, all these girls want to do is have babies. They want to have a baby. So one girl falls in love with this guy. They have a baby together. Another girl, she has a miscarriage. And the third girl is like, she's having such a hard time getting pregnant. She's like going to gangbangs and stuff and just like trying to get pregnant. And basically it drove these women insane. And they eventually, there's two children born to one, and there's one born to another. And that's when, and then the two entities that were in the cave come out, and they're going like, "Oh, you need to fight each other on our behalf." And one guy's going like, the one that was born by, he goes like, "Well, screw that, I'm not into this." And the other one had twin son and daughter, and the daughter's going like, "I'm not doing this," but the son's going like, "Okay." And that's like the rest of the book is that one brother trying to take over the world or something like that. I don't really remember. I just remember that one bit about the water. And as I'm reading that part, he goes like 3 or 4 paragraphs just talking about this pool that just turned into a cave underneath them. And that actually I had to stop reading for a minute because that was making me go. Because imagine you're swimming over something, you can see the surface underneath you and stuff, then all of a sudden it's just gone. This belonged to my parents. The Game of Thrones. I watched all of them all the way through. And yes, I hated the ending. But probably not for the reasons you think. Recently I've been trying to watch it, but because the ending upset me the way it did, I can't make it through season 1 now. I have yet to be able to watch season 1. And past that. All because I haven't even watched any of the new series stuff yet. I haven't watched any of it. Even though we have like the first and second season of that, but I have yet to watch them. Because, I was so disappointed with how they ended the series. I was just like, because I don't know about you. It's one of those things where it's like they turned her they turned Daenerys crazy without any build up. It just happened. There wasn't any build up. There was moments, but it was like it wasn't to the degree she ended up being. There was no build up to it. It was just she's fucking bonkers. And I'm just sitting there going like, where did that come from? Because she's all about the people and stuff, and then, oh yeah, that was like, why do we even bother with that? They kept it in the sidelines so long that finally when they bring it up, it was a disappointment. But yeah, it was just the way they built her up, and then they turn around, because they were always saying she was always about the people, she was about freeing people and all that stuff. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, she goes, "What about them?" Which she was never like that at all. There was no hint of her being like that. And then all of a sudden she's like, "What about the people? As long as they do what I say, I don't care." Well, there might have been hints, but the thing is like I wasn't seeing them. And that's the thing is I have no intentions of reading the books, especially if he's not going to fucking finish them. Here's the thing with the beef I have with George Martin. I'm not going to say his full damn name. That's a mouthful. Just like the names of my channels. But the thing is, I don't think he can finish them. Because I've heard how he talks about toking. And the thing is he in my opinion, Martin doesn't believe in heroes. He doesn't think they exist. And that the world will never have heroes. Yeah. And that's the thing too. And he's always talking about the new book coming out, and it was all like, yeah, when? But yeah, that's my my thinking behind why he can't finish it is because he doesn't have heroes in his mindset, that he can't figure out how to wrap things up. Because he's got multiple characters, none of them are heroes. The closest he's got is Jon Snow. And even with that, you know, he can't be a hero. Yeah. And but yeah, I'm just someone told me, yeah, like he's brought up the fact that Jon and Daenerys have a child, and that's the one that's going to take over. And I'm just sitting there going like, how? Yeah, Tolkien only hinted at the end of the world, but he was mainly focused on folklore and legends. And that's how his books are written. They're written like folklore and legends. Yeah, I heard something like that, and I have read the notes he had. They've actually got them on the internet somewhere on where he was going to go if he was going to write a sequel to The Lord of the Rings. But he ended up dropping the idea because he just didn't know where to go with it. Well, it's the thing of, yeah, exactly. But it's mainly how I see it. He came up with a rather final ending to his book. And if he was to follow that up, it would ruin it. That's how I feel his thinking. I'm gonna probably get in a lot of trouble for this, but I hate Catelyn Stark. And the big thing, and I also have issues with Ned Stark and their relationship. I have big beef with how their relationship worked. Because he says he trusts her, he does this, and then why can't he trust her with the information that Jon Snow is his sister's son? Why can't he, well, you know, if they trust each other and they're in love with each other and all this stuff, why can't he share that information with her? She's not going to tell anybody if he tells her not to. That tells you right there he never trusted his wife. And the only reason that plot point is even there is just to have Catelyn Stark be a bitch to Jon Snow, and that's it. Because in medieval times, it has been known, you know, well, this is the son of my sister, or this is the son of my brother, but I'm taking him in as my son. That's happened in medieval times. So I don't know why George never thought of that. But yeah, I kind of understand, you know, with the king probably wanting to kill Jon Snow for being the son of whatever. But it's one of those things where it could be a family secret. No one outside the family needs to know. But Ned Stark's just like, you know, and he's a grouch. So it's like, I'm not going to tell my wife because she doesn't need to know. So what happens? Jon Snow gets treated like shit for it. And he gets referred to as a bastard, which technically he wasn't. And I don't remember if the show ever told Snow who his actual parents were. Does anybody remember? I don't remember if he was ever actually told by the end of the series what his lineage was. Mainly because I think they never got around to it. They talked about it outside of his presence, but yeah, when it finally got around to it, it's like, I don't think they actually ever told him. And yes, I laughed my ass off at the bloody wedding. Or whatever they called it. But yeah, when that wedding, with the wedding and the eldest got killed and his wife and unborn baby were killed, and Catelyn Stark. When Catelyn Stark finally died, I was laughing my ass off. Well, around 6 or 7 my time, I'm probably going to play Final Fantasy for a little while. Yeah, this was just random talk today on this. I really didn't have anything to talk about. It was just whatever popped up I was going to talk about. Hey, Arts and Crafts. Just having a random conversation today. Just got done talking about Game of Thrones and my disappointment in it and why I haven't bothered ever watching it again. Because I was telling Akikaru that I recently tried to... I watched the entirety through it, and I started to watch Season 1 again, and I can't get past the second episode. And yeah, it was mainly the fact that Martin doesn't seem to know how a husband and wife work if they trust each other. Because that was like my biggest beef. I go like, if she's your wife and you trust her unconditionally, why don't you tell her about John? Yeah. Hey, Miley. Don't piss on my clothes, okay? Don't encourage her. Hey, the chime thing stopped. I was getting a chime and now it's not doing it anymore. Who knows? Well, we'll find out. But yeah, I was telling him my disappointment in the fact that they made Daenerys crazy for no reason that I was. Well, she had her moment, which was expected, but at the same time, they made her practically insane out of nowhere. There was no build up to it. It was just, flick a switch on, she's on full crazy mode. And she was not the same character she was 2 or 3 episodes before by the end. And then the whole thing about Jon Snow and the fact that he shouldn't have been called Jon Snow. He should have been Stark the whole time. Pretty much. And the only ones that actually survived were the characters that were liked. Except 1 or 2. But it was things that, were easily fixable writing-wise. But I think it was, well, George Martin would do this, so maybe we should do that. And I was also saying that George Martin will probably never finish the books. Because he himself, I do not think he himself knows how to end it. But I want to get off that tangent. Yeah, I got them all sitting here because I was going to sit and watch them, and I've started 4 separate times. I've started over, and I can't get past the second episode because I'm thinking about the end result and my disappointment in it. And there's 2 distinct characters I hated more than that little blonde shit. I can't even think of his name right now. And that was Exotic Slayer. And that was trying to think of their names. Catelyn Stark. I hated her. And the only reason I hated her was her treatment of Jon Snow, when it was easily fixable by Ned Stark. And he basically just let her do what she was doing. Instead of fucking lying about it to her, his wife, that they're supposed to be trusting each other. And they say several times they trust each other, but he won't tell her about Jon Snow. Well, if we can get 2 more, that's 5. But, yeah, that was just one of those things. It bugged the piss out of me because I was also saying that medieval times it was not uncommon for a family to take in the child of a sister or a brother. I want to get off Game of Thrones. I want to talk about something else. Can we talk about something else, please? I'm trying to get my mind off of that. All right. Because if I go on a tangent about that show, I could go on forever, and I don't want to. Oh, what'd you go see? I don't have a favorite D&D module. I do have a favorite setting, though. And that is Forgotten Realms. It used to be Dragonlance. But then when I actually tried playing Dragonlance, I realized how horribly written it was as modules. Because they're very... how do I put it? You know how people talk about being railroaded in a D&D campaign? Well, that's the Dragonlance modules. Very, very railroady. And you don't even get to make your own characters. They already have them made for you. And it's the characters from the novels. Oh, you can, but they pretty much wrote them to where you basically have to use the characters they made for you. That's how it was written. So, if you can, but the DM's going to have a time trying to do it. I might have to check it out. I actually stopped buying D&D stuff like a year or 2 before they started doing the whatever the hell it is they're doing now. Okay, I am going to use something that someone else has said because it's very, very relatable to this situation. If you've ever heard of the Nostalgia Critic, back in the early days when he first got started, he was referencing the part from the Never-Ending Story 3 where the Rockbiter is singing Born to Be Wild. And his jaw drops, and he goes, and he almost flips his lid, but he does this. He goes, "This is not Jumping the Shark." And I'm just sitting there going, "That's not?" He goes, "This is not Jumping the Shark. Let me repeat myself. This is not Jumping the Shark. This is Jumping the Shark, coming back, shooting me in the balls, raping it, eating its flesh, consuming its soul, mounting its head on the wall, then doing the same thing to 12 more sharks just to be safe." That's what that was to me when the 5e 2024 came out. That's exactly how I felt. It wasn't just jumping the shark. It was doing several other steps to it and then doing it 12 more times. My favorite segments of Spoonie was the Ultima series, especially the earlier episodes when it's like the older games, like the first, I think it was the first 3, or no, the first 4, because he also did Ultima 0. But it was the Ultima 1. He did probably the best bit I think is hilarious every single time. And it's where he does like a reimagining of the Lord of the Rings on the battle on the bridge between the Balrog and Gandalf. I can't remember his name for whatever reason. And it had to do with the fact that Ultima has phasers, blaster rifles, And, basically it has technology in the game in this magical setting. Oh, yeah, I know he's been doing streams and playthroughs, but they're not what I do those myself, so they're not very entertaining for me. And I'm afraid if I watch stuff like that, I might start imitating them, and I don't want to imitate. I just want to do my own thing. So a lot of the times I watch like real crime. I'll occasionally look up stuff on games I might not be aware of. If I see a title or someone mentions a title, I'll look it up just to see what it's like, see if it's something I want to put on my channel. But I don't really watch playthroughs, or I should say live streams. I'll occasionally watch like live streams of stuff I don't do on my channel. But it's mostly I watch crime stuff and stuff like that. Oh, well, I might have to look that up somewhere. Okay, it sounds like I have to do some digging. But yeah, when my daughters first wanted to learn Dungeons and Dragons, we watched his parody of the Dragon Strike video, where he does his commentary on it. Which, that's the particular one. When someone says, I want to learn how to play Dungeons and Dragons, that's the video I bring up. Because I said that, it doesn't tell you everything, but it gives you an idea of how to go. Because I said, well, I want to learn, Craig from Phantasmagoria is the easiest way to find it. Okay, well, when I'm off here, I'll probably look it up and see what I think about it. Yeah, when it comes to... Here's a subject for now. How to teach people to play Dungeons & Dragons easy without having to break your head. Spoonie's a good place to start with his... his stories were great. There was a... They did have a playthrough of them playing some Dungeons and Dragons, which nowadays you can barely find like chunks of it. I mean, you really have to dig now to find it because a lot of the playthroughs are gone. But the one that I always remember is the one where it's he's DMing, and all you hear is their voices, and someone did like an animation of it where he's playing it was Angry Joe playing Lord Vane. And he's fighting this monster hand to hand, and he's beating its ass. And then another one of the players, I can't remember his name, he's playing a ranger, and he shoots 2 arrows and kills this monster instantly when there was a one-on-one fight between Angry Joe and this monster. Was it Linkara? I think it was a different guy. I remember it being a heavy-set guy. But the joke was, Angry Joe gets pissed that this happens, and you start hearing him just throwing a fit. It was probably Movie Bob, but yeah, he just throws a fit. He goes, "What? You just killed? Why the fuck did you do that?" It's like he's just screaming at the top of his lungs. And everybody's just cracking up, listening to Angry Joe lose his shit over this. He goes, "We were locked in. We were fighting like men." It was just one of those things that it cracked me up the first time. So it's like I would show that video. Hey, the chime came back. Oh yeah, before they started censoring everything. Yeah, the reason I cuss periodically, I don't cuss a lot, but I'm not going to censor it. Oh. Well, actually, I've had it to where 2 people were, and they were both chiming, so I don't get it. Well, if someone else starts talking again, we'll figure it out. Maybe. So I would use that one, the Dragon Strike. Any of Spoonie's role-playing stories from when he was working at a game shop, which I worked at a game shop for a little while. The game shop doesn't exist anymore, but I worked at one for a little while, paid under the table, of course. And then there was that little skit right there, which I actually have to dig around for. It's I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, I was gonna do something like that, but then I changed my mind because I just, it was just I'm not very good at storytelling. Yeah, he used to, and I think he did his best stuff when he had Oreo. When he had that little dog, that was probably when he was at his best to me. Not to say that any of his earlier stuff before Oreo was bad, but I think some of his best stuff came at that time is when he had that little dog with him. Which one was that? April? Yeah. Yeah, things started off fine at first, but it's like you started seeing like a dwindling in his content. It wasn't coming out as much. I think it was like at one point it was you really started to see it when it was like all of a sudden you did only like 6 videos one year, and then it was down to 3 or 4, and then just one the following year, and that was in the middle of the year, and then nothing. Well, Nostalgia Critic's still around, but I don't watch him hardly ever anymore because he's not the same. He turned it too much into a. He's family friendly now, and he's made too much focus on his crew as well. When it was just him and his brother, and I'm talking Nostalgia Critic, when he was just him and his brother and a couple of other people, it was great. But then he started having camera. Now he has a camera crew. He has he has extra actors in there that he pays on the regular, and it's just I'm just like he full on turned it into a business. AVGN, a lot of his stuff, even those newer stuff, even though it's very few and far between, you could tell he puts work into it. But the thing with him is you always knew AVGN was a character from the start. Nostalgia Critic, he took a while to figure out what his character even was. And he doesn't even do nostalgic stuff a lot of the time. Nowadays, it's like a lot of modern movies he does. Which one are we talking about, AVGN or Nostalgia Critic? Because I heard about that. I think Nostalgia Critic has a writing crew now. Oh, yeah. And then when he was playing a character, AVGN, he has writers now. That makes sense. Apparently someone thought I needed to hear their music. That's how I describe it when people drive by and they have their music just blasting. And I'm just sitting there going like, apparently someone really thinks I need to hear their music. This is going to sound funny to you, I don't like loud. I never have. Even when I had my own radio with rock music and stuff, I don't like loud. So it's like I'll have the earphones on, but I'll have it at certain video store, and DVDs fell off the shelves. Jerk. I unofficially worked at a video store for several years, and that was because I knew the video store like the back of my hand. I had been there almost every weekend, and I would spend a few hours there before I'd actually pick a few movies. And this was back during the age of VHS, so it was like 99 cents for older movies, and the brand new ones were $1.99. And at this store, you could keep them for a week. Except for the new ones, you could only keep those a couple days. But yeah, I was around back when VHS was just becoming the norm. There was a couple of movies that I watched on the regular on VHS, and that was because they were recorded off of HBO and Cinemax back at the time when those were the only cable movie channels you had. And that was Krull and Megaforce. I watched those movies. I don't remember. But I watched Kroll and Megaforce, and I basically know the movies like the back of my hand. I don't remember Betamax at all. Yeah, that was supposed to, be first, but VHS was cheaper. That's why everybody went with VHS. But Betamax was supposed to be far superior. Because that's what TV networks used, was Betamax. Okay. Or Laserdisc, yeah. Laserdisc, oh my God, were those expensive. And then you had the backlit TVs. Or not the backlit TVs, but the ones that had the lights and stuff, and they would blast it on the screen. And those TVs took up like half a room. Oh, yeah. I remember watching Clash of the Titans on them. Felt like a completely different movie I was watching. Okay, I'm going to mail it to myself because that's the only way I can get my pictures to myself. Yeah, projector TVs. I forgot what they were called. But yeah, I remember them. And I kept getting, I had, I think it was my dad's cousins had one. And I kept putting my hand in front of the lights to see the outline of my hand on the screen, and they kept yelling at me to stop that. I was like 4 or 5 at the time. But yeah, I was like 4 or 5 at the time. All right, so. All right, I'm going to change screens so you don't see my passwords. Yeah, glad I switched it over because there's an Adolf Hitler version of Trump on there. I don't want to show that on my channel. Because this is not a political channel. That's why not. Now, mind you, I'm going to have a couple pictures of my backyard pool. And over the winter, we did no cleaning or had any pool service or anything on it until recently. Well, that pool's like 55 years old. Its edges are falling apart. We need to have them fixed before anybody can swim in that thing. But okay, so I think I got them all. So that can be erased. Okay, I don't care about any of that stuff there. All right, and okay, those can all go. I'm clearing out my mail while I'm at it. That'll only take me a couple of minutes, or maybe a minute. Yeah, this is what she looks. Oh, she just woke up, but that's what she was looking like. I just folded up some shirts before I started the stream. I roll them up military style. So I was in the Army for boot camp, but I didn't make it through because I had a nervous breakdown. Yeah, this is the picture I just took of her. Oh yeah. Well, I'm surprised she hasn't tried to take over this seat while I was gone. She does that periodically. I'll walk in here and she's sound asleep in the chair, and I'm just sitting there going like, I just walked away a minute ago. How are you asleep already? Now, this is the pool right here. Yeah, there's ducks back there. And the thing and the thing is we don't own any ducks, and we don't know where these ducks came from. They just showed up in our backyard a week or two ago, and they've been back there since. And the reason I didn't know that these guys were back there is because our roof is still collapsed, and it blocks pretty much everything we see in our backyard. So, as we were deciding to get a pool person to come clean up our pool and stuff, I hadn't looked in the backyard for like 4 or 5 months. So this is what I see. I see 2 ducks, a male and a female, and the male is very protective of her. He will not let you near her. In fact, hold on. I could show you the roof because I made a video of it. Uh, I might post those on Facebook. I do have a Facebook page. And on my Facebook page, I'm a little bit more open about what I put on there. Instagram, I don't put very much on it anymore because no one really goes on there. And I have, I think it's called, what is it called? I have a Blue Sky account. And Blue Sky and Facebook is where I go to the most. And I have links in my YouTube channel to get you there. Instagram, I wouldn't bother to with much because I don't really put anything on there and nobody really talks to me on it. So here, let me get my YouTube channel up here. I stand at 845 subscribers. I've gotten 2 new subscribers recently. When did that happen? It will be here. Let me see if I can get you the link. Well, apparently I can't cut and paste. Well, here. Will you? Oh, come on, move. Give me just a second. It's not cooperating. There we go. Okay. Here. This is my YouTube channel. I don't know if you've been on it or not, but this is what it looks like. Give me just a second to adjust here. This is my YouTube channel. That's the full name of it. And this is what I started with before I went to Twitch. Now I don't know why I'm looking at the smaller screen. I should go here. There you go. Don't worry about Lowering Grey Wolf. That's actually an old account that is pretty much a dead account. But we got Blue Sky. Of course, you're on Twitch. Here's Facebook. And if you really want to go on Instagram, here's Instagram. But I barely do anything on it anyway. So I hope that helps you out. And I just realized you never saw the pictures because I had my face on there full screen. I'm a doof. Sorry, I'll do it again. Okay, so let me do the pictures again. I'll leave this screen up for until I get this done. Okay. Yeah, I'm tired. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll check it out here in a bit. This is the picture I was talking about. Yeah, I just realized, I had my webcam at full screen. I didn't shrink it down so you guys could see what I was talking about. I'm tired. What can I say? I'm sorry. Anyway, so here's the cat sleeping on a few shirts that I was talking about and nobody saw. And then we got, here's the ducks I was talking about. See how green the water is? That's 4 months without any chemicals in it. And our backyard looked like a frickin' jungle. But yeah, we got these 2 ducks, a male and a female, roaming around our backyard. They haven't left yet. They're still there. Okay, let me check on that request. Jacob Wilbers. You have been accepted into the fold. Okay, I gotta see this full joke here. Found a bunch of D&D 1 ebooks in a box of my dad's old stuff, 1979. Hey, Dad, do you remember a half-elf ranger named Fox? Now, that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Okay, well, that's about right. Yeah, I also do Blue Sky as well. I don't know if you have a Blue Sky account or not, but it's basically my replacement of X, because I got tired of all the political posts on there, which Blue Sky is starting to do the same thing. Okay, that's fine. I mean, but of course, Blue Sky I might be dropping out of anyway because I'm not having very much in the line of interactions with people anyway. I might just stick to Facebook. And don't worry about Owen Grey Wolf. It's a dead channel. There's like one thing on it, and I never picked up on it since. And of course, there's Twitch. And Instagram, again, nothing's really happening on Instagram. Yeah, Blue Sky started off good, but then it was like everybody started going all political about within a couple of weeks. And that's even the people that are supposedly my followers. And the ones I follow all have to do with it all has to do with D&D stuff, but it's like all I ever see is political stuff half the time, and that's from the D&D channels. It's like that's all anybody ever wants to talk about. You know what? We might check out that channel, Fantasy Star Tabletop, and see if there's anything new on it. Let's go from oldest, because that would make it easier to get there. Well, there they are. These are the ones I played Dungeons & Dragons Chronicles of Mystara with my cousin. I couldn't find them earlier. I'll eventually get there. Right after I'm done with Final Fantasy, I think I'm going to get back to Phantasy Star Gaiden, which is the handheld game. And the reason I stopped playing it was because it takes forever to get anywhere, because you have to buy all this stuff, and they made it uber expensive. Yeah, check this out. This was, yeah, a little over a year ago. And, yeah. And CRPGs were notorious for it. This was a patio roof, and it collapsed invertedly.
Nothing to do with dragons or dungeons or even computer games. Oh, I might mention it here in a second. But yeah, our roof collapsed last night, or actually early this morning around 3 a.m., 3:30.
It was a heavy rain that night, and I was sitting just on the other side of it. There's a sliding glass door on the other side. And that collapsed.
Yeah, this is the whole patio roof. Came down.
Yeah. So when it happened, you see that sliding door, I was sitting on the other side of it, and Miley had her bed right up against the glass. So if that had been any more damaging, it would probably taken her out and probably injured me pretty good.
And I don't know if you can see it or not here. Let me see if I can get it closer. Right there at the bed.
Yeah, you can see her bed right there.
She sleeps right there during the day and sometimes in the evening when I'm on my computer.
And this is the room across the hallway right here, just right across from me.
When this collapsed.
And it was right after that I decided to move to my bedroom with everything, because I didn't. That whole situation freaked me out, and of course the sunlight is glaring in there almost the entire time. So I moved everything into here and got curtains.
Clean up this mess and
And we still haven't gotten anybody to clean it up yet. I can't clean it up by myself, and there's a lot of wiring stuff I don't want to mess with.
Yeah, this is an old roof. I'd say it was built back in 1958.
And the reason it collapsed was because we had a new roof put on the house, and with the solar. Grandfather.
This is actually from,
and he built it.
me slowly cleaning up the house.
He worked for
My grandmother was kind of a pack rat.
Pac Bell when it was still around. And
cleaning up the house and
yeah, it was this is my grandparents' house. I basically inherited it,
health issues.
but including all the problems.
Now I gotta find someone to fix this roof.
But this house has been around since 1955.
Damage on the new roof.
Yep, he built it himself. He worked for Pacific Bell, or Ma Bell as they used to call it. And when it became a monopoly, and it split up into a bunch of baby bells, so that's how that all happened for him. Well, and if you see that satellite dish, that's the old satellite system that they used to use, and it would physically move to be with, to align with the satellite.
If it doesn't happen tonight, I apologize.
And of course, that thing hasn't worked in years. And I'm talking decades. I think the last time it was on was back in 1987, I think was the last time it was used. And that was because back then, when you had satellite, you pretty much had all your channels for free. And then apparently all the cable companies caught on and started charging everybody for a box to descramble their channels. So when they found out that people were watching their channels for free, a lot of them started scrambling the channels to where pretty much everybody had scrambled channels at that point. So you had to pay for a descrambler, which was this little box that they attached to the box for your satellite. And then when you had that, then you had to pay individual channels to get the code to descramble their channel. So basically that made the satellite worthless. Now it's just scrap metal. Figured you guys might want to look at this. I mentioned this a while back. They're getting ready to have a tabletop role-playing version of Phantasy Star. It's supposed to come out sometime this summer. And they got to start and continue, which is two different things. They got everything from the first four, how to build up the first four games, and then they got the builds for the online version as all in tabletop form. And it is being sponsored by Sega. I had to find that out. Making sure I wasn't just getting some random thing saying, "Oh, it's Phantasy Star tabletop, and we made it, and now we're getting sued because Sega said no." But yeah, Sega actually is sponsoring them, so. I might want to put my email in there. I'll take care of that later. But yeah, I already reserved my copy, so I'm looking forward to it showing up this year. And I'll do an unboxing. I haven't done those in a while. Yes, he's headbutting my cat. You got this. You got continue, and this is basically when you hit continue, that sends you to the pre-order. And it's $69.99 for the box. Inspired by the popular Sega console game series, Phantasy Star Tabletop Role-Playing contains everything you need to create heroic characters and epic tales set in the Phantasy Star universe. packed with character options, fearsome foes, and setting tools for you and your friends to weave amazing tales of cosmic fantasy. Included is a galactic lore guide detailing the history, characters, and storylines of the iconic game series. Pre-order yours today. Receive a free digital copy of the book when you order ships. We got product information. What's inside? I never read this part, as I didn't know it was there. Fantasy Star Tabletop is packed with character options, streamlined rules, and setting tools to help you craft epic tales of cosmic fantasy in the Algo star system and beyond. A wealth of character features is available to forge your own galactic hero, along with guidelines for creating your favorite iconic characters from the video game series. So you can make your own characters, and you can make characters that are already pre-existing. Loads of character options. Create your identity by choosing between various origins and professions. Sci-fi weapons and gear. Gear up and customize your character with an assortment of equipment options. Fearsome foes. Challenge the forces of darkness with fun, engaging encounters. Expand your adventure with integrated rules for generation-spanning storylines. So they actually already integrated the fact that there's generations in it. Explore the galaxy of space travel options and a versatile starship combat system. They didn't have a starship combat system in any of the games, did they? Well, they might have later on, because I've never played 4, so... Well, I've played bits of 4. Okay, Phantasy Star Lore Guide. Included with the game is a guide to all things Phantasy Star. The Galactic Lore Guide is loaded with illustrations and information on characters, locations, and events that comprise the extraordinary Phantasy Star universe. Well, I do know that they had a vehicle that had a cannon in it for fights, but that's all I pretty much remember. The guide also provides a history of the franchise as well as guidance for adapting elements from the various games into your RPG campaign. Pre-order your copy today and receive a free PDF of the book and bonus adventures when your order ships. Product specifications: 3 pounds. So I'm thinking there's more than one book in there. If it's 3 pounds, estimated dimensions 9 by 12 by 2. Yeah, it's estimated time of summer of this year. And they're using, if anybody's wondering what combat system or gaming system they're using, maybe it's down here somewhere. Nope. Okay. They're using this system. Sometime today would be nice. Okay, yeah, they're using the Esper Genesis sci-fi role-playing system, which, looking at it, damn near looks like Phantasy Star. Yeah, I never heard of it either. So, and the name of the company is Sky Dawn Game Studios. And they have a Facebook, an Instagram, an X, and whatever the hell that is. Oh, that's an @ Yeah, Esper Genesis, and I think I saw another Expedition from the Mysterious Peaks. The hell is that? Apparently they made a system where they combined medieval and sci-fi elements to each other. So I guess it makes sense that they would have Phantasy Star on there. Fantasy Grounds. Well, Fantasy Grounds, I've seen that. That's basically your virtual tabletop. So that is going to virtual tabletops with some of this stuff. Although it didn't mention anything on Phantasy Star. Alright, well that's pretty much it on that. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a day on this, and probably around 6 or 7, that'll be in a couple hours, I'll be playing Final Fantasy. I got Phantasy Star stuck in my head. I'll be playing Final Fantasy a little bit later today. And then after that, I'll probably be doing a recording for reading Darkwalker on Moonshade, because I want to get I got a lot of books I got to get through, so I got to start reading that more regularly. You too, Akigaru, and everybody else that attended, thank you for coming by and saying hello, at least saying hello. So you guys take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video or stream, whichever comes first. Bye-bye.